So for this week's video, I want to show you how you can improve your planes in Trailmakers, obviously. This is an upcoming plane that I have not shown on the channel before, but I'm not going to tell you what plane it is. You can figure that out yourself. I was just going to show it because it flies kind of well-ish. Sometimes does some weird stuff, but overall it flies quite nicely. So I just want to show you how I do these kind of things and why my planes fly like they do. Remember, I am playing on keyboard and mouse, so for like controller users, this is kind of like a lot of things I'm going to talk about are kind of irrelevant. I'm just going to go for a very simple plane first because, oh, why wouldn't I? I'm going to build like a like this is purely for demonstration purposes, right? Like this is not how I would normally go about building a plane, but like that. We need some control surfaces. Okay. So what I'm doing here is just adding pitch to the plane. And go. Okay, we have pitch now. We also need some roll. These are like the basics. You should probably already know this. I first want to check where the center of mass is. If I go into orbit cam, it will orbit around the center of mass, so I can see. It's about in kind of like quite far in the back. I'd say on this block somewhere. So I'll go out, do some of this. Okay. We don't even have engines yet. We should probably add engines first and then check for the center of mass because this is not going to function. Just going to move this forward a block. What we're going to do here is use connector pieces because they're absolutely brilliant. Super easy to use, but they always fit. So yeah, I really recommend using these. Okay, now the center of mass has been moved, so we have to move these only forward like about 2 blocks. Now if I go and fly this thing, it flies almost level. It's very close. So what I'm just going to do, showcase it. Let's move them back a block. Now you can see wings are generally pretty far in the back, which is something a lot of people get wrong. My phone just went off. I'm sorry. I don't have roll yet, but people like, especially like people like Scrapman, they get this wrong all the time. Wings don't go in the front; they go in the middle. They go around like the center of mass, and then you don't add lift in the back because that's just going to make your plane pitch weird. Trust me, I know. I have a lot of planes that pitch weird. This is kind of a video I'm probably going to title it "How Scrapman Can Improve His Planes and So Can You" because, well, I'll get views. But yeah, I like to see the channel grow, you know. So what else we're going to do right now is add roll because we need roll. So how I could go about doing this, I normally have roll inside of the wings, and my wings normally look a bit better, a bit more detailed stuff, more interesting shapes, but this will do for now. Just something like this can function, but when you're actually making like a proper plane, obviously you're going to have to not just have these kind of wing blocks. This video is purely about the physics, you know. That's roll is in reverse. I'm sorry. Did not think of doing that right. I'm also going to go over the settings in a bit. You can see we basically have a perfectly flying plane right now. It has plenty of lift. It has a good amount of roll, a good amount of pitch, and it lies really straight, which is actually kind of surprising. Look at that. It's great, right? Okay. We could probably do with a bit less lift. And the roll is also a little aggressive, but I can make it work, you know. This is very light at the moment. Like, this... Like, you have to think of that. Do I need all this lift? Something you also want to avoid is having wings that are too thick. Like, if I would do something like this both ways, the center of lift would still be the same, but it would do it will do like weird like it's paper floating through the air. You know, it's just not optimal. So what else can we do here? I want to show canards and how they mess up your entire plane. After that, we'll take a look at settings. So, I have tried building planes with canards before. It absolutely sucks. it's really annoying. I have to put this down by a bit. So these are some settings that I change. These are going the same way, right? Then down A and D and on W and S. Okay, this wouldn't work because they're going the wrong way, you see. This one is -1. I could also turn one around. Like, there's plenty of ways you can do this. Okay, what this does is also add more pitch. So we're going to have to halve these. Probably like angle like 15. Okay, so what this is going to do is make our pitch weird, in my opinion, from my experience. Okay, it's a little aggressive. And on a plane like this, it still functions, right? Like, this is actually, like, kind of good. But when you go larger, planes start to do weird things with canards. Which, it's already pitching down because I moved the center of mass, but that's okay. I'm kind of surprised how good this still works, but you can see it's already kicking more when I do this. It's only a little, but the heavier the plane is, the more it's going to kick. Especially if I put these on, like, the canards on hinges, that's going to absolutely ruin the plane. Now, let's cover some more important stuff, because, well, most planes don't have canards. So, pitch can either be in the front or in the back, but roll should always be around the center of mass. It just makes for a more consistent roll. If you have, roll in the back here, it's going to pitch a bit with it, and you're going to spiral more than actually roll. So it's a little strange. It's Trailmakers physics, I guess. For the settings I would normally use, and this is kind of controversial, but I like steering help, but only in a like smaller amounts. Especially for like roll, I'll put it on like 60, and for pitch I would like 80 or something. No, I like, hang on, like 20 for this plane. That really just depends. And sometimes you can also change the speed a bit. Yeah, that's pretty controllable. Seems pretty good, right? I have full control over this plane, and that's great, I guess. Center of mass seems to be a little forward now. No, it's actually good. It's actually pitching up a very slight amount, but that's nothing I can really change about that. Yeah, so this is basically like the basics of planes and Trailmakers. Like, it's that easy. I've seen so many people in like online servers or just through the Discord who have had a lot of trouble with building planes, right? A lot of them would have wings like stacked like over the entire plane, which is going to make it, well, like I said, like a paper airplane that's just going to go from side to side. Like, very inconsistent. Something I would also recommend avoiding is helicopter engines in planes. They also make for very inconsistent turning because they need like a lot of time to rev up. Means you can't do precise movements because it needs time to rev up, but when you release it, it doesn't lose that, right? It takes a few seconds. Which is kind of weird, and I can't really showcase it too well, but trust me, it's annoying. You don't want to do it. It's also kind of cheating. So some other building techniques I use when building planes. Wings I would normally like put like mainly like for 45-degree angle, and then just like for jets at least, I kind of go like this. But I prefer to make the shape first and then the actual functionality. That's also something I do. Something people also do semi-often, I guess, something like this. This. I don't know exactly, I don't normally do it. Yeah, something more or less like this, with that stuff it away here. And yeah, sometimes it's also beneficial to put the wings on angle, which I can show you. It does tend to make it more stable. It's quite a nice thing you can do if you want to improve your plane very slightly. It's like I go with like 8-degree angle, speed 2. Let's just put no, let's put down E, I guess. No steering help. Yeah, what this does. Okay, this is going to make it more stable, and the other way is going to make it less stable, which I did not program in. As you can see, oh, it looks like it has more. Oh wait, I moved the center of mass a little. Unless this is going to stabilize me out, which would be. Yeah, this is kind of strange. Oh wait, I'm moving like some drag. I'm moving the drag up. That's good. That's it. You have to base your plane around it, I guess. Like, you have to make it fly differently, because there's more drag higher up. Mainly because of the pipe pieces, because the pipe pieces are very drag inefficient. Not very aerodynamic, I guess. So, you might also see that a lot of my planes don't actually use drag and thrusters. This is purely preference. I just think mini thrusters look nicer. They don't have like that big smoke trail coming out. That's just me. It's what I prefer. You don't have to agree with me on that. Some people swear by dragon thrusters because they're much easier to use. I get that. I moved the wings totally like the wrong way. So this is how I just go about tweaking a plane, right? You want to tweak the controls the way you like them. It's really up to preference most of the plane, I guess. It goes for a lot of builds. It's whatever you enjoy, you know. Look, now we're going straight again. And we're more stable. So that's one, like, very simple building trick for you. Angling the wings. You could also angle the back fins. Might make it more stable. And that could go also both ways. Like, I was using a build by Voa the other day. I don't have it saved or anything. I don't save other people's builds, but and he had actually like no he didn't even have a rudder, but his pitch was like in like a V shape downwards, like you would see on F-16, and like F4 Phantom, and it was surprisingly about as good as this, which this plane was much more complex, much more complex than that one, except that this one doesn't have missiles. They're both very simple. That was actually kind of impressive. Because this does use a rudder, obviously. Well, it's I guess a horizontal stabilizer, but because it's only a rudder when you can yaw with it, I guess. But... Oh god, no, we're dead. Yeah, these are kind of the basics. If you want to copy this design, go ahead. That's fine. This is not like very good plane. Also, take a look at the aerodynamics. It's quite important. Cover that seat. The pipe pieces are absolutely terrible. But apart from that, there's not much else I can tell you. Uh, Kind of a small, simple video this week. I hope you don't mind. I'll see you guys in the next one.